Let's welcome to the Media Center Ripper Golf Club. Guys, welcome to LIV Golf South Africa 2026. We've got Captain Cam Smith, Mark Leishman, Lucas Herbert, and Elvis Smiley. Cam, start with you. The Rippers currently hold first place in the team standings. With the season opening, back-to-back wins, and a runner-up finish last week. What does the team have to do to keep this momentum going?
Yeah, I think we're all really determined to keep the momentum going. I think it's obviously a lot of hard work to do that, and something that we're trying to do. But at the moment we're all playing really good golf. We feel confident. This is another week that we're going to enjoy here in South Africa, and yeah, like you said, we just got to keep that momentum going. So keep the hard work and keep the putts going in.
Mark, you've spoken about how memorable back in 2024 that team playoff was in Adelaide against the South African team. Is there any extra juice or motivation this week knowing that friendly rivalry exists?
I mean, there's always juice every week, but I think there's definitely motivation for the Southern Guards. I mean, obviously getting beaten in a playoff, they probably are after revenge, and I mean, what a great place to try and get it here in their home country. And sounds like we've got sold 90,000 tickets, which is huge. Yeah, we're definitely excited to try and take it up to the Southern Guards, and I'm sure they're ready for a big week as well. So hopefully we can be both there at the end of the week and give the crowd something to cheer about.
Lucas, I know you were there. You watched that playoff unfold a couple of years ago. That was one of the moments where I think we saw for LIV Golf the team fandom, how fans can really get behind a team. That being said, what would you expect to see from the fans out here in Stain City this week?
I mean, I'd expect them to get behind the Southern Guards the way that the Adelaide crowds have gotten behind, the Ripper team the last couple of years. A really good, loyal, vocal fan base out here in South Africa. You see that across all the sports that they excel in, whether it's rugby, cricket. They get right behind their national teams, I guess, and the Southern Guards really represent South Africa well at this point in the golfing scene. So I would imagine, they'll be pretty vocally behind them. It was funny watching the boys this morning. They looked like they were getting pulled in every direction for media this week, and sort of felt like it was nice to see someone else getting that, because for us, Adelaide's a busy week for us. So that's probably a sign early in the week how big it's going to be for these guys, and I know how much it means to them to have such a big event in South Africa, so it's going to be really good for them.
And Elvis, you started your LIV career with individual and a team victory in Riyadh. Again, the team celebration in Adelaide. But now 4 events in, what have you learned about the quality of the competition here in this league, and what's it been like now after this kind of first quarter of the season?
Yeah, I think first things first, I think each week has had an amazing story attached to it. Myself winning in Riyadh, and then you got AK winning in Adelaide. You got Bryson winning last week, and then you got John winning in Hong Kong. So I feel like there's been a lot of great stories attached to each week, and I'm continuing to see that this league is really strong. There's a lot of great players, and we're obviously playing great as a team, which is nice. And hope to keep that winning feeling going from Riyadh and Adelaide.
Open up to the floor. If media could please raise their hands and introduce themselves.
Hello, boys. Dimitri from Southpaw Media. First of all, welcome. It's so good to have you here. Elvis, I'm going to stick with you. First of all, beautiful turtleneck. Secondly, I'd love to know, going into the season, being labelled as a proper rising star. You see it across other sports when young guys burst into the scene and start really hot. Is that motivating or distracting, and how is it informing your individual game going forward?
Yeah, it's definitely motivating. I think you got the other young guns out here that are really pushing me along. I've had the opportunity to play with McKibben and David Puig and Josele Ballester, and I think you know, the one thing that I've noticed is everyone's always, you know, in the gym together. Everyone's always, you know, doing the 1% stuff that you see away from the course, and that's incredibly important. So it's great to be able to have that rivalry against those guys, but then also have the opportunity to learn off, you know, guys like Bryson and John, and, you know, these three guys up here as well.
To your right.
Boys, welcome to South Africa. Dylan Rogers from Hot 1027. Cam, if I wanted to introduce your team to perhaps a South African golf audience that doesn't know the four of you individually, how would you describe each of you, the four of you, and what you bring to the team dynamic?
I think we're all pretty cruisy, all pretty laid back, but all extremely motivated to do better. You know, we have a laugh in the team room and dining, but once we get out on the golf course, even in practice rounds, we're all competitive, trying to make each other better. So it's a really good team dynamic that we have, and something that we're super proud of. But we're always trying to get better.
And specifically, if I ask you to drill down a bit, tell me about Mark, Lucas, and Elvis. What stands out to you if you describe Mark, Lucas, and Elvis?
Jeez,
Sentence in
me
each.
on the spot here.
No, mate, it's not going to be easy here in South Africa.
How would I describe Mark? I think Mark is one of the most underrated ball strikers of all time. An incredibly good bloke. Loves to have a beer, loves to have a chat. Will do anything for anyone. Likewise, anyone else will as well on this team. It's something that I said before we're super proud of. Herbie and Elvis kind of bring the energy to the team that are young guys. They keep us older people in check and really keep us on our toes. I think we learn off them just as much as they learn off us.
And your interests outside of golf as a team? Do you socialise together on the LIV circuit? And I know there's a couple of Queenslanders, a couple of guys from Victoria. Sporting interests, so is it a footy interest? Where your interests as Aussies? I mean, obviously we know as South Africans we're sports mad. We know the Aussies are like us and sports mad as well. And I want to get onto the South African-Aussie rivalry as well. But your interests outside of golf, because it's not all golf, and I know you said a while ago you don't often think about golf yourself personally. What do you guys like to do away from the course?
Cam's actually travelling with a cricket bat this week. He's got that in his travel cover. So we love cricket. I mean, we were watching the rugby in the room last week in where were we? Singapore. We all love our sport, but enjoy spending time together. You know, whether it's dinners or just hanging out. You know, going to check out local restaurants and just holding good conversations. I think that's a pretty cool thing about the four of us is I think we can enjoy ourselves, not talk a whole lot about golf, but hold a really good conversation, an interesting conversation. Be cool to be a fly on the wall for some people, I guess, occasionally.
Cheers.
Thanks. To your left.
Hello. How's it, guys? Ben Kopinski from The Bounce. There's been a lot of parallels made between LIV Golf and Formula One. So the team dynamic is something that a lot of fans have really latched onto, and it's a really cool dynamic to watch. Do you guys kind of see in future that there could maybe be like, where there's Red Bull and there's Racing Bulls, that there's maybe like a Ripper secondary team that's kind of going through a ranks? Would that be something you guys would be very behind? And obviously, would there's more competition that maybe a secondary team can push for like top places in the main team?
Yeah, I think I could see that maybe in tours or league underneath us. I think it's very important for everyone to have their, like for us, our national team is us. For the Southern Guards, it's South Africa. For Torquay, it's South America. I think that's really important, and I think it's really important to have young kids pushing us to be better to make sure we stay here. So I don't know if I could really see that having two teams out here, but I could see maybe the international series or something like that, where we have something that comes in and out, and a bit of a relegation maybe between the two teams. I could definitely see that.
Hi, good morning, gents. Ibrahim Tayyab from Chat EBT. So for a lot of the players, this is the first time they're getting to play this course, right? How does the preparation for you guys change on, say, a course that you might have played multiple times to coming to South Africa and playing a course for the very first time in the week of the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I've played here in SA. This is my 4th time, so I've kind of got a bit of a bit of an inside track as to how to prep for definitely South African courses. A lot of the time we're playing on kikuyu grass here, so it's a slightly different preparation around the greens. You know, you've got to get used to that. A little different from what we played on last week. And then the altitude here as well. The ball's going to go a little bit further. So just dialing in that, and it's just a little different for every player. Depends how high you hit it, depends how much you spin the golf ball. So those are the adjustments that you got to make. And I would say that's the main, changes from last week to this week. I think for most guys, this is our 3rd week in a row. For me, it's my 4th. So as far as getting a lot of reps in, we don't need so much of that. We've done plenty of practice the last couple of weeks on the course, especially as well. So we're all in a good groove. But it's just more those tiny little changes. So whether I'm changing driver heads this week to get a little bit more loft. Probably do a lot of work on the range today with flight scopes and trackmans and that kind of thing to figure out how far clubs are going, so that we got a chance coming into the greens. And then I actually haven't had a chance to putt on the greens yet as to the speed. I would guess they're probably going to be a little slower than last week, because last week they were like billiard tables. So, just a little readjustment of speed. But, it's stuff that all of us do regularly week to week anyway. And it's a fun challenge. It's a good part of the sport, but nothing that, we can't take on.
Lovely. And quickly, one of the biggest differentiators with regards to LIV is the player's ability to wear short pants. Now, ironically, 2 of you guys are in longs, 2 are in shorts. Tell us the story there.
Well, I'm not sure which outfit Elvis is rocking today. He's not got the script, I think. Someone mentioned a turtleneck earlier. No, the short pants is only if the heat index is over 90, which I think is standard across every tour except the PGA Tour, I think. I think I've seen it on the DP World Tour. I've seen it in Asia. If it gets over 90 degrees Fahrenheit heat index, and they allow the guys to wear shorts. So practice rounds, the guys like to take advantage. I think you're a longsman pretty much every day anyway.
I love wearing long pants. I wore long pants last week, and it was 1,000,000 degrees. So I don't know, it's something I'm used to.
But this was all I could find in my locker. I'll be straight back to shorts if I can find them after the presser, I think.
Oh, lovely. Thanks, guys. Best of luck for this week.
Matt?
Herbert, you've had a great start to the season. You've always been long off the tee. You've always had a great short game. But last year, kind of towards the end of the season, your approach play let you down a little bit. And coming into this week, you've gained strokes on approach all 4 weeks, and a bunch of them over the last 2 weeks. Is there something that you did over the off season to kind of fix that weakness?
I started struggling from DC onwards last year, so it was literally halfway through the season. I was struggling with some concepts in my golf swing that, it sounds really stupid, but just didn't understand kind of what I was doing from a real basic concept point of view. So figured that out in the off season, and that's made a big impact. And then changed drivers as well, so that's helped me a lot. So I think the approach play kind of a lot of the time piggybacks on your driving. I think when you don't drive it well, you're in the rough a lot. You're trying to get out of trees, and your approach play looks like your problem, but it's probably more the driver. So I think I've driven it better this year. I don't think I've had my best stuff the last few weeks, but I think it's been better than what the poor stuff last year was, which that's helped me a lot. And yeah, like you said, I've had a really good consistent start to the year. I think last week at 17th was my worst finish, so I'm pretty proud of that. I've not been known as a consistent golfer over the years, so it's nice to change that script and produce some really consistent results.
And Cam, I know you're focused on this week, but probably your last start before the Masters, or definitely your last start before the Masters. How do you compare your form kind of going into it this year at a place where you're always great, even when you're not in the best of form? How's your form this year as opposed to the last few years going into Augusta?
Yeah, I feel good. I just need to get out of my own way. I feel like I'm a little bit in my head at the moment, something that I'm working on. My game, though, feels great. I mean, I go to the range, I go to the chipping green, I go to the putting green, and I almost feel like, what am I doing here? I just want to go play, hit different shots, and like I said, just kind of get out of my own way. So feeling good. Last week was really good. That's a really tough test, hot, pretty physically painful, out there, and a really tough golf course as well. So game's trending in the right direction.
Thanks.
Back to the right.
Cam, just picking up on that with regards to the Masters, you obviously still have major aspirations. Much been made of the world ranking element and the discussion around LIV Golf getting world ranking points. What are your major aspirations still?
I want to win another one. I want to win another one more than anyone else does. That's what we do the work for. It's an extremely gratifying time in your life and something that you can't take for granted. And I want to be up there holding another trophy. It's been a couple of years for me, even out here. So, but like I said, I feel like my game's in a really, really good spot. I'm starting to feel really confident, and I'm starting to feel at ease with different shots and just kind of letting go a little bit. So I feel like I'm in a really good stead for major season.
Any chance you kept an eye on the players a couple of nights ago, watching Cam Young there, a place that you won 4 years ago in that year for you where you won a major as well?
Yeah, that's a great week, and super happy for Cam. I know he's had some close calls over the year. He's a great guy. That's a good golf course to win around. It's pretty brutal, so he'll be one to keep an eye on as well through major season. But we didn't get to see it. We were flying here out of Singapore on Sunday night, so we missed everything pretty much.
Can I just have one last one? Just a response. Mark spoke about the Aussie-South African rivalry. What would it mean to you as a team captain to win here on South African soil?
It would be really nice. I love the South African guys. They're some of the best guys out here on the league. We have a lot of fun with them, but I would like nothing more than for us to whip them this week.
Nice. Dimitri?
Hello, guys. I'm back. Skipper, one last one. I think obviously there's going to be lots of chat around altitude golf and Stain City. There's a couple of gettable par fours if you're long off the tee, but you've always been known as a bit of a short game wizard. Do you think that Stain City suits a field player like yourself, or do you think the long dogs are going to have a better sniff at it this week?
I haven't been out there yet, so I'm wary of what I'm going to say, but I think any week where there's long rough off the fairway and around the greens, you have to scramble well. That's just something you have to do. The rough out here, I was around the chip and green yesterday, it was about 6 inches long. I could barely get it out, so I think over the next couple of days figuring that out and then just figuring out the golf course, where to miss it. If you're offline, off the tee, out of position, where do you hit it and where do you make your four, and try and be aggressive as you can for those birdies when you can.
Thanks. Got time for just a couple more.
Elvis, this is for you. As an Australian, you have neither a moustache or a mullet. Which of those are you looking to aspire to have, and how long do you think it'll take?
Mullet, you're more chance, mate.
Yeah.
You can't grow a mustache.
I can't grow a mo. Yeah, probably a mullet. It's getting a little bit long, but not to the extent that Cam's got it at. So it's kind of his trademark. So I might just leave it to him with that one and keep it short.
He would look good with one, though.
If you had a mullet, though, you could be vice captain. It would be like a tearing thing.
I think we'll end it on that one. Guys, thanks for the time. Good luck this week.